flowers are getting a lot of that rain that's needed. Just a little bit heavy. This is what is left of Beryl, barreling our way through southern Ontario right now. At least it's cleaning off a little bit of the false cam.
The camera. It's
Yeah.
still kind of there, but
It's still kind of there, but just look past it.
Yeah, you can really hear the pitter-patter this morning in and around the building. How was your drive-in, Steve?
It was good. The traffic was fairly heavy. However, everybody was taking their time. But again, the
was
big
it coming
story,
down?
It was coming down heavy.
Yeah.
Yes. Fortunately, the car was right by the side of the house today, so I didn't get soaked.
Yeah.
And
And we're hearing thunder right now.
Okay, there you go.
That's right in our soundproof area here. We're hearing a little bit of thunder in the background here. And this will be with us for the next, number of hours. In fact, we could get 2 or 3 waves of this as the day goes along, as this system does eventually slide through us. But the heavier stuff will be south of the border. But we'll get to the weather coming up in the next little while. But now let's have a quick look at your traffic. 6:31 on your Wednesday. And just looking at one of our cameras here, the Aldershot camera, and we're seeing again moving through the Hamilton area. It's on the slow side, so I'll harp on this all morning. Give yourself a little extra time out there on the roads. Take your time, give space between, because there's a chance of some ponding or some flooding in areas as the road moves along there. So just give yourself a little extra time this morning and take it slow and easy. And it looks like everybody's doing that right now. Our other camera coming down the hill, it's a little lighter moving in from the Ancaster area, but you can see traffic is building up coming down the hill. Certainly is a lot busier than normal, so those of you who are already taking that advice and you're leaving a little earlier just to get where you need to go this morning and get there safely. So that's some good news. Other cameras showing the Skyway Bridge here, eastbound, as you would expect, very, very busy, and even busier now because of this rain and thunderstorms that are moving through the area. Let's move back one shot here, just coming up the hill from the Burlington side. We are seeing things, actually both sides fairly busy right now. Back down towards Brant Street, along that run into Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, into Toronto area. Traffic is fairly light right now. It's 6:32, so not looking too bad. And Appleby Line, again, traffic's moving along in good shape, but a little on the slow side. So as I mentioned, just give yourself a little extra time and should be no problems out there at all. But again, it's a little on the slow side in some areas, so be aware of that. That's all. Thanks for now.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Well, the search continues this morning for a Brantford woman missing since Friday afternoon. Her friends and family are growing increasingly concerned. These are the details that Brantford police have released about 44-year-old Jenny De Silva. So she's 5'1" with a tan skin, a slim build, long curly brown hair and brown eyes. Family and friends on social media have been circulating her photo and the details about when she was last seen. She's being described as a mom, a wife, friend, and daughter. A search party is also being planned for tomorrow morning, covering not only Brantford, where she lives, but also Hamilton, St. Catharines, and London.
And the family of a 29-year-old Brantford woman have not seen her since the end of May. Brantford police have released photos of Mary, but did not release her last name. She's white, 5'5", with a thin build, blonde hair, and tattoos on her legs and arms. She's been seen in downtown Brantford, but also may be in the Simcoe area.
A woman in Niagara Falls is facing charges after a gun was pointed at another person inside a home. This happened late Monday afternoon near Seneca Street and River Road in the Falls. The weapon was seized at the house the next day. No one was hurt.
A group of tenants in Hamilton say they will have no place to live after the company that owns their townhomes put them up for sale. DeCenzo Management owns the 3 townhouse complexes in question on the East Mountain. The move will impact more than 120 units. Tenants were given notices by the company about its intention to sell and a minimum of 60 days to vacate, with financial assistance for moving expenses.
We can't afford to lose any more affordable housing. I said a couple weeks ago at the city councilor, we're looking at losing 30 to 40,000 more people to homelessness. Can we afford to do this? No.
DeCenzo Management tells us here at CHCH News the townhomes were originally intended to be owner-occupied. They also said with the lack of demand for new home products, there has been an even greater shortage of affordable homes, so the decision was made to sell these townhouses.
U.S. President Joe Biden has thrown a spotlight on his commitment to NATO as he welcomes summit leaders to Washington for the alliance's 75th anniversary. Biden's been making the case to voters that his rival, Donald Trump, would turn his back on NATO if he were returned to the White House. Trump had warned NATO allies in a campaign speech that he would encourage the Russians, quote, to do whatever the hell they want to countries that don't meet NATO's defense spending goals.
This remarkable progress, proof that our commitment is broad and deep, that we're ready, that we're willing, we're able to deter aggression and defend every inch of NATO territory across every domain: land, air, sea, cyber, and space. My friends, it's good that we're stronger than ever.
Biden aides are crediting the president with encouraging more NATO countries to hit the alliance's defense spending targets.
Well, high-ranking U.S. senator called out Canada for falling short of NATO's defense spending target, putting Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the defensive regarding Canada's military expenditure.
When we took office, Canada was spending less than 1% of its GDP on defense every year. But we vowed to change that right away.
Trudeau met with a bipartisan group of senators in Washington yesterday before the NATO summit. After the meeting, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said it's time for his country's northern ally to invest seriously in helping preserve prosperity and security. Trudeau will be joined at the summit by Defense Minister Bill Blair, who said on Monday he looks forward to discussing Canada's defense spending plan with allies.
Another key issue on NATO's agenda is Ukraine's potential future within the alliance. The U.S. says those details will become clear during this three-day summit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stresses the need for strong support to defend against Russia.
We must be strong and uncompromising all together, and the President of the United States as the leader of the free world to be uncompromising in defending democracy, uncompromising against Putin and his country.
Ukrainian officials say at least 22 people have been killed in Russian strikes, including one recently on the country's largest children's hospital.
To the crisis in the Middle East, and an Israeli airstrike on a school-turned-shelter in southern Gaza has killed at least 25 Palestinians. Meanwhile, heavy bombardment in northern Gaza has led to the closure of medical facilities in Gaza City, forcing thousands to flee in search of safety. Israel's new ground assault in Gaza's largest city is its latest effort to battle Hamas militants regrouping in areas the army previously said had been largely cleared. Much of Gaza City and its surroundings have been devastated after 9 months of conflict, with many residents having already been displaced.
Kenya is facing unprecedented debt and very violent protests. Since June 18th, more than 39 people have died in demonstrations over planned tax hikes to deal with the debt. Activists are calling on the government to scrap those plans. Kenya's president warns, though, that would have huge consequences. Amid calls for his resignation, the president plans to cut a budget gap equivalent to $2.7 billion in half and borrow the rest. Kenya's debt is at $80 billion. That's about 70% of its gross domestic product.
Well, as some Democrats continue to debate President Joe Biden's future in the presidential campaign, Donald Trump has called for another debate. Speaking at his golf club in Florida, the former president issued this challenge during a campaign rally last night, proposing a debate without moderators. However, this is not the only this is not the only face-off that he's seeking.
I'm also officially challenging Crooked Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here.
Yeah. Trump also addressed Biden's shaky performance at the first presidential debate on June 27th, which prompted worries about Biden's health. The U.S. president said that he had a bad night, but asserted that he will not drop out of the presidential race.
And Trump repeatedly teased his announcement of a vice presidential candidate, with one of the top contenders, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, in the crowd.
Oh, look at all of them back there. Oh, that's a lot, Marco. That's a lot, Marco. I think they probably think I'm going to be announcing that Marco's going to be vice president.
Trump is expected to announce his running mate as early as this week.
Harvey Weinstein was in a Manhattan court on Tuesday for a status hearing. The 72-year-old movie mogul is awaiting a new trial after an appeals court overturned his 2020 rape conviction. So that court found the trial court improperly allowed testimony regarding sex acts that were not part of the charges. Prosecutors say they now have new accusers who were not ready to come forward at the previous trial, and more indictments could be coming. Weinstein's lawyer says he's anxious to prove his innocence.
The jury's been picked for the trial of Alec Baldwin on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. Opening statements start in New Mexico today. The jury will be tasked with deciding whether he committed a felony when cinematographer Helena Hutchins was shot and killed on the set of the movie Rust in 2021. Baldwin could get 18 months in prison if he's found guilty. The jurors will hear testimony from crew members who were eyewitnesses to the shooting, including director Joel Souza, who was injured in the shooting. There's no word yet if Baldwin will testify himself.
Okay, let's bring you back home now. And the speed limit is going up on 10 more stretches of 400 series highways in Ontario. Starting Friday, the permanent speed limit will be raised from 100 kilometers an hour to 110. The change will be posted on parts of Highway 403 between Brantford and Hamilton and a stretch of 406 between Thorold and Welland. They're seen in green here on the screen. The blue stretch of the QEW between Hamilton and Niagara already has the increased speed limits. The province says most of Ontario's highways were originally designed to safely accommodate speed limits of 110. All right, if you haven't heard, Canada lost to Argentina in the Copa America semifinal last night in New Jersey, and it looks like Drake lost a big chunk of money. Canadian rapper posted an Instagram a screenshot of a $300,000 bet that he placed on Canada to win against top-ranked Argentina. Canada lost the match 2-0. So if you want to blame anybody, we can now blame Drake. Thanks, Drake. The Drake curse continues. He often posts screenshots of his big money bets on Instagram, including his $500,000 bet on the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. Curse them too.
Okay, let's check your traffic and see what's going on out there. 6:42 on your Wednesday. As you can see from one of our exclusive cameras here moving through Aldershot between Hamilton and the Burlington area, very, very slow, very, very rainy and thunderstorms happening, and this will be our story for today. Let's go down towards Niagara. Haven't had a chance to look at them today. So it looks like rain is a little lighter down that way, but do not think that you're going to miss out on this rain, folks down there. We are getting some heavier rains heading your way, and we'll be with you for a balance of today into tomorrow as well. So again, southern tier of Niagara, we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on in the weather, but right now on the roads we're seeing Glendale looking in good shape, Niagara Street seeing no problems, up through the Burlington Skyway Bridge area eastbound coming towards us, very, very slow as it has been most of the morning. East of Guelph Line looking okay up by Pearson Airport. Well, that camera's gone right now. 403 west of King Road, a little on the slow side. So again, if you need to be somewhere at a specific time, give yourself a little extra time today because the roads are slow, but the good news is we're not seeing any real tie-ups or accidents other than just volume during this heavy rain. So that's what we've got on the go. Here's this heavy rain. It's, of course, the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, Tropical Storm Beryl, now just a rainstorm for us. Winds are fairly light. One area to watch, though, today, and this would be the southern tier of Niagara, Niagara Falls, Port Colborne, Welland, these areas. The closer you are to the American border, and this almost could go to the north shore of Lake Erie as well, into the Niagara area, southern tier, heavier thunderstorms are possible into the afternoon. So we'll be watching for that, but that's just the one little isolated area. The heavier stuff is going to be south of the border, but it could move up into the, again, the area north shore of Lake Erie and also down towards the southern tier of Niagara later on today. But we're watching that for you. Otherwise, we're just looking for fairly rainy conditions, not a whole lot of wind out there, just a little bit. Not much, and this will linger into the evening time and even into tomorrow. Right now, temperatures out there, 19 in Hamilton, 20 in Grimsby, Toronto, 21, and the Mississauga area looking at 19 degrees. And your almanac for today, the sun was up at 5:50 a.m. We'll be down tonight at 9 p.m. Lost another couple of minutes of daylight as we get into later parts of today. Normal high is about 26 degrees this time of year. We are looking for temperatures to be about 24 or so, but still fairly humid. We'll get into the extended forecast and your pool shop forecast in a few minutes. That's it, guys.
Yeah. It is really
Wow, it is raining.
isn't it? Goodness, okay.
Yeah, okay. So let's stay inside and get ready for Chit Chat. This is exciting. A sequel to The Devil Wears Prada is underway at Disney.
Goodness, there's a lot going on here today, isn't there?
It is like teeming with rain
Yeah.
outside, and I
Yeah.
was supposed to be outside for my live remotes because we have NASCAR
Yeah.
here in
Canada
studio.
is in our other studio.
Yeah, they're here, and there's a really cool looking car, and I was cracking a joke about maybe lying on the hood, and Tim was like, this.
Like, I double dog dare you.
You don't even need to dare me, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna see if I can do it.
You always apologize. You're just like, oh, sorry.
You don't
ask.
ask.
You don't ask.
Just
You
do it. Beg forgiveness afterwards.
You didn't want me to lie on the hood? Sorry, I thought you wanted me to. Anyways, that could be coming up in the near future.
Okay, that's a tease.
Looks like there might be a Devil Wears Prada sequel in the works. Aileen Brosh McKenna, who wrote the first movie, is penning a would-be follow-up to the hit film. Producer Wendy Feinerman, who was also behind the original, is on board to help develop the new film. Now, while no details are finalized, a follow-up to the 2006 coming-of-age comedy has long been talked about, with Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, and Anne Hathaway after recently reuniting on stage for this year's SAG Awards. The 2006 film grossed a massive $326 million at the worldwide box office and even earned Streep an Oscar nomination.
Have you seen it?
I have. It's wonderful.
I still haven't seen this.
I love it.
I can't.
It's really good.
And it's a rewatchable. One of those rewatchable. If it's ever on, I'm just like, okay, I'm watching this now.
Really? I'm surprised.
I know. It's one of those movies, because I wouldn't call it a rom-com.
It's totally not. No.
But it's like, and Meryl Streep, because who's she?
She's
like,
so mean, right? Anna Wintour.
Yeah, that's who she's supposed to be playing.
Super mean.
Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt,
new assistant
Stanley Tucci. Like, there's so many good characters, so many great actors in it. Adrienne Grenier from Entourage is in it too. Like, I really, really like that movie. So.
Okay, so I get that you would watch that, but I'm guessing you may not watch this, or maybe you might. An upcoming TV legal drama is getting some more star power. E-News reports that Halle Berry and Glenn Close will join Kim Kardashian as stars of the new Hulu drama series, It's All Fair. The three women will also serve as executive producers along with co-creator Ryan Murphy. In the series, Kardashian will play the role of a top divorce attorney at an all-female law firm in Los Angeles. No word yet on the roles that Halle Berry and Glenn Close
You know
will
what?
play.
I gotta say, I was so impressed with Kim Kardashian. Was it like 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago?
SNL?
When she was on SNL?
Yeah.
She was so good at acting.
She's got some acting chops in her, I think. Yeah.
And those are two big heavy hitters, Halle Berry and Glenn Close.
Glenn Close,
they're
yeah.
not
And I
going
want to not want to watch it, but I kind of want to watch it.
Oh, I
but
really
don't
wanna
want to
watch
watch it.
Well, because the thing is, like, I'm not a fan of the Kardashian show
yeah.
or them together, but like,
I don't know. She low-key drives me crazy, but I still kind of want to see it.
low key drives me crazy.
It's all one word. Low-key drives me
fabulous.
crazy.
Yeah. So listen, you're excited because you were doing weather yesterday, and
I was.
and you were saying it was going to rain.
I was, and I was so glad that the forecast actually panned out, because when you just do weather one-off on a day, you're kind of like, oh, you got to follow the story and you got to check the weather model. So I was happy, Steve, that it rained.
That's right. We've been talking about it for days, so it had better happen.
Right.
Exactly the way we say it.
Exactly.
And it's panning out the way we had anticipated. And you can see here at 6:51 what's happening on the roads. A little windy, not much. Again, this is the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, and that's what we've got on the go. So again, traffic is moving along a little on the slow side for sure. Let's go down towards Niagara, where we've seen a little lighter amounts of rain. Still looks like that is the case. But again, it's still raining and will rain for most of the day. A little slow along the QEWs through the Skyway area, up by Pearson Airport. Well, it's moving actually okay. Toronto, again, still getting some fairly heavy rains and thunderstorms, and that will be the story today. So as I mentioned, we expect you to give yourself just a little extra time, take it slow and easy, and leave maybe a little bit earlier than normal if you have to head somewhere in particular. All right, let's have a look at your weather now. First of all, our pool shot rooftop forecast for today. High of 24 degrees, which is a couple of degrees below seasonal. We're looking for rain and thunderstorms, rain heavy at times, not a whole lot of wind, but some, and it's going to be certainly on the wet day today, tonight, and also into tomorrow, as we'd actually talked about the last little while. So, quick look at conditions right now. Low pressure, this is the remnants of Hurricane Beryl moving through the area. It will go basically right over top of us, which means that we're going to get a little heavier rain than we'd anticipated. The heavier storms, though, south of the border. The closer you are in Canada to the U.S. border, it gets a little heavier as well. So down towards the southern tier of Niagara, north shore of Lake Erie, could get heavier into the afternoon, but we are looking for nicer conditions coming up ahead of us. Right now, temperatures outside 19, 20 degrees, not too bad. Your Wednesday planner looks like we're getting up to 24 degrees, a couple degrees below seasonal, but still rain and thunderstorms. And as we go to your nighttime commute, doesn't change a whole lot there. And as we look at the extended forecast, after a couple of days of humid conditions with some rain, Friday, Saturday, looking at sunny conditions, but also as we get into the rest of the weekend, into next week, humidity comes up along with the temperature. So that's what we've got on the go right now. 6:53, we'll take a short break, but back here with more news of the day here on Morning Live in just a couple of minutes.